Chapter 83 of Married Thrice to Salted Fish. Shirong didn't consider it for long and gave Lin Qingyu his answer. He agreed to Lin Qingyu's three conditions. He ordered someone to deliver the Tianji camp's token to the general's mansion, and as prince in charge of the supervision of the country, he entrusted Gu Fuzhao with the responsibility of guarding the capital. Isn't he a little too willing to agree? Gu Fuzhao tapped the table with the Tianji camp's token. It doesn't seem like Shirong's style. Lin Qingyu agreed. He's definitely left himself a way out. When he put forward those three conditions that day, he didn't actually expect Shirong to agree. Given Shirong's ambition, how could he stand being surrounded by wolves restraining his actions when Shao Jie ascends to the throne? Shirong's willingness to agree now was simply because he and Shao Jie's position was unstable, and for the time being, they could not do without his and Gu Fuzhao's support. In his time, once the time was right, if he truly wanted to pull down the bridge after crossing the river, he could simply think up of a way. Don't you have a way out yourself? If Shao Jie and Shirong won't listen, then they'll be replaced. These were your words. Lin Qingyu looked at the token that could mobilize all of the Tianji camp's elite assassins. The emperor only has so many sons. We have gotten rid of Shao Cheng. If we replace Shao Jie, there is only one left. Gu Fuzhao was using the Tianji camp token to tap out a rhythm. He said sleepily, "A dullard as emperor? It would simply be unreasonable." "I wouldn't want to do anything unreasonable either. I hope Shirong would be more obedient and not force me to replace them. Stop tapping that." Lin Qingyu couldn't bear it any longer. "Are your hands so empty that you simply can't go without having anything to play with?" Gu Fuzhao stopped and pretended to feel wronged. "We are already dating. Why is Dr. Lin still so fierce?" Lin Qingyu said with a smile, "I'm only saying the truth. Why is that being fierce?" "I am bored, so naturally I'm going to find something to play with," Gu Fuzhao said casually. "You won't accompany me. All day long you play around with medicine and politics, and yet you still find time to play around with my feelings, Dr. Lin. Oh, I once again find myself envious of that love-idle couple in the north." Lately, Lin Qingyu has been busy dealing with the different parties and truthfully didn't have time to play with young Master Jiang's feelings. Gu Fuzhao no longer needed to go to the morning court, and he didn't go to the palace very often. On the other hand, Lin Qingyu went to the palace every day, even staying overnight at the Imperial Hospital when things were very busy. Gu Fuzhao has been spending many nights alone in that bunk bed, and it was inevitable that he would have some complaints. Lin Qingyu asked, "Why? You want to be love idol as well?" Gu Fuzhao shrugged. "How could I when love idol isn't what Dr. Lin wants? I want to become Dr. Lin's type, a mature man." Lin Qingyu teased. "Well, I count salted fish among my dislikes, but it hasn't made you any more diligent." "The only thing I can say to that is it's a testament to my ability that despite my being salted fish, I have managed to make the Dayu's #1 beauty fall for me." Not only did Gu Fuzhao not feel any shame, rather he was quite proud of it. "You like me already. It's too late for regrets." Lin Qingyu sighed softly. "I have miscalculated." Gu Fuzhao smiled and said, "Don't be like that. I may be salted fish, but I support you in all your endeavors. You can proceed with all confidence and boldness. If something goes wrong, you can come to me, and I will help you deal with the aftermath." Lin Qingyu said, "I can't go to you unless something goes wrong. Didn't you say you're bored? If so, I have a lot of work for you to do." Forget it. Gu Fuzhao lay on the table and waved his hand. Unless it's for you, I would rather stay at home to get more Li than go to work. Lin Qingyu raised his hand and gave a barely there touch to the shallow scar on Gu Fuzhao's forehead. If you handle these things well for me, then I will have time to play around with your feelings. Gu Fuzhao raised his eyebrows. Is this true? Then give me a written pledge. Lin Qingyu laughed. What would you like me to write? Gu Fuzhao brought out pen and paper. Write down that after I'm done handling these matters for you, you have to stay with me at the mansion for an entire day, 24 hours, 1 hour less, and that doesn't count as a day. A few days later, the civil and military officials discovered that the guards in the palace had quietly been changed. Most of these guards were unfamiliar faces. They patrolled the palace day and night in shifts. They guarded the 8 palace gates, the 12 east and west palaces, the 6 bureaus, and 24 divisions. Some busybodies went asking about and learned that the new batch of imperial guards had personally been selected and gathered by General Gu. Each and every one was loyal and devoted to the general. At the same time, Shuang, the old eunuch who had been serving the emperor for many years, suddenly wished to retire and return home. As soon as he left, the eunuchs and maids of the emperor's palace were also changed. Now, eunuch Lai Fu of Fyangyi Palace was in charge. The empress waited all day long before the dragon bed. Though the other concubines and princesses wished to also serve the ill emperor, she tactfully turned them away, sending them back to the harem, saying that the emperor needed his rest and was not in any condition to see people, both in court and in the inner palace. Save for those of Fyangyi Palace, the only other person who could see the emperor was Imperial Physician Lin of the Imperial Hospital. Everyone knew that a great change in the palace was about to take place. On this day, General Gu, who had not been in court for a long time, along with his wife, showed up at the Ministry of Revenue. The Nanan Hao, who was the Minister of Revenue, personally received him. Among these civil servants, Gu Fuzhao, dressed in the clothes of a military official, was particularly conspicuous. He even wore a sword around his waist. Gu Fuzhao asked the others to withdraw for now, leaving them alone with the Nanan Hao. Nanan Hao said anxiously, "The general graces our ministry with his presence. What noble errand might have brought you here?" The Nanan Hao has been serving for many years, and throughout all those years, he has never participated in party disputes. He served the emperor, his only support. Now that the emperor was seriously ill, his backer at the verge of collapse, he grew even more careful, overcautious in all matters, big and small. Whether the new emperor turns out to be Crown Prince or King Ning, he would be able to keep his own glory. Gu Fuzhao looked at the man he used to call father, now walking on thin ice, and felt a little like laughing. "Master Hao has not seen my wife for a long time. Perhaps you would like to pay him your greetings." The Nanan Hao's expression froze. He, a noble of the highest rank, has fallen to a point that he had to pay his greetings to an imperial physician, not to mention that this imperial physician was once the male wife of his household. Lin Qingyu said, "General, if we could kindly move on to the business." "All right," Gu Fuzhao said. "This general has something I don't understand, so I came here to ask the Nanan Hao." Nanan Hao said, "General, Please feel free to ask. Gu Fuzhao found talking too tiring, so he handed over the right to speak to Lin Qingyu. Madam, Lin Qingyu said, concubine Chen has been banished and the crown prince is seriously ill. King Ning has been supervising the country for a long time. As such, the general is wondering why, given the situation, has none of the civil servants came forward to declare their position. The Nanan Hao froze for a moment. Lin Qingyu has already made his views very clear. He had long had a hunch that this matter would fall on him. Previously, Lin Qingyu had threatened him with the matter of the illegal salt business to ask him to implore for the fourth prince's title as king. He thought that what the fourth prince was asking for was nothing more than the position of a feudal king. Now it was evident that Lin Qingyu had already at that time set up a chess game and invited him into an urn. Nanan Hao said, voice cold, the Prime Minister is the head of the civil ministers. Prime Minister Xue has yet to make his position known. How could I possibly dare to declare my own? Lin Qingyu disagreed. This matter is easy to handle. You can go and discuss with Prime Minister Xue. Together, you can come forth and write a memorial to the emperor. Gu Fuzhao said, the madam is right. The Nanan Hao showed signs of reluctance. What does the general wish me to write? Gu Fuzhao, seemingly accidental, brushed his hand against the handle of his sword. Master Hao is a smart man. There should be no need for me to speak so bluntly. Nanan Hao wiped the sweat off his brow. Gathering up his courage, he said, although concubine Chen has committed a big mistake, she has not implicated the crown prince. His Majesty shows no intention of giving up on the crown prince. If I, simply because the crown prince is ill and King Ning is currently supervising the country, ask His Majesty to revoke the crown prince's possession, would I not be accused of sailing with the wind and currying favor with those in power? Lin Qingyu said, Master Hao must be joking. How could this possibly be considered as sailing with the wind and currying favor with those in power? The general simply wishes for you to go where the tides dictate. Gu Fuzhao nodded. The madam is absolutely right. The Nanan Hao was stunned. Go where the tides dictate? But that day, when Master Hao asked on behalf of the fourth prince that he be granted his title, you have already boarded His Highness's ship. At that time, the fourth prince had no political merits. He had none of the emperor's favor. Despite this, Master Hao extended his help, and His Highness has always kept his kindness in mind. Now, His Highness has his achievements, the heart of the people. Is Master Hao certain that he wishes to disembark at this time, to withhold his help instead of being this ship's helmsman? The Nanan Hao seemed moved. Hints of being swayed appeared in his eyes. Lin Qingyu went on. So long as Master Hao is able to win over people's hearts on behalf of His Highness, convincing many of the civil ministers and censors to His Highness's side, not to mention being Minister of Revenue, he may even reward you with the Prime Minister's position. Just as Nanan Hao was hesitating to agree, Gu Fuzhao's words allowed him to make his decision. Do it for the glory of the Lu clan, for your infant child, not yet a year old. The Marquess of Nanan Hao took a deep breath. His Highness can leave the civil ministers to me. Not long after, a memorial composed by the Nanan Hao and signed jointly by several officials was sent to the emperor's palace. Lin Qingye handed the memorial to the Empress. Nyang Nyang, please see if everything is in order. The Empress looked at it and said, everything appears appropriate. Then let us have His Majesty rise. After many days, Lin Qingye once again administered acupuncture to the unconscious emperor. When the emperor finally managed to awaken, he looked with cloudy eyes to his bedside. Empress? Your Majesty, the Empress said softly. You're awake. The emperor's fingers moved. His voice was hoarse, rough as gravel. The imperial physician? Lin Qingye said. The imperial physician is here. An unknown incense was lit. Its rich fragrance suffused throughout the room. The emperor looked at Lin Qingye, his expression gradually becoming dull. This imperial physician asked the emperor back because there is something I would like His Majesty to do. Lin Qingye's voice was very soft, as if talking to a child. Can the emperor do it for me? The emperor nodded numbly. Lin Qingye gave a slight smile. Really obedient. He raised his eyes in signal, and Lai Fu, waiting by the side, immediately carried a table and placed it onto the bed. The Empress helped the emperor to sit up and handed him the imperial brush. Once everything was ready, Lai Fu presented the jade seal. The Empress held the emperor's hand and stamped it on the edict. After doing so, the emperor fell into slumber once again. The Empress indifferently covered him with the quilt. She said her concern for herself. Your Majesty, do not blame Sheng She. If you wish for someone to blame, blame yourself. If you had but spared the barest thought for Liner, Sheng He wouldn't have resorted to this. Your Majesty has so many princes and princesses, but Sheng She only has Liner. I am but a mother who wishes to be reunited with her son. Why are you so unwilling? No matter how much of a dullard Liner is, he is also your own flesh and blood. Why? As the Empress spoke, she began to choke up. Lin Qingye put away the edict and said, Nyang Nyang, His Highness the Sixth Prince is still waiting for you in Jinyang Garden. The Empress expressionlessly wiped away her tears. She said, the Emperor once said that Jinyang Garden is warm in winter and cool in summer. With its pleasant climate, it's a good place to recuperate. That was why he sent Liner to stay there. It seems to me that once the third Prince Shaocheng moves out of the Eastern Palace, it would be the perfect place for him to recuperate. He won't be coming back. Lin Qingye nodded lightly. Yes. Wow, that was one heck of a chapter. I'm getting over my cold, so my voice might be a little rustic, but I kind of wanted to finish this before the new year, so bear with me.